And I don't know how long I'm going to go, just depends on how long the engagements are. But I caught this post on X, and I caught a couple of posts on this line from people that I follow. So the Black Authority post first, this is the first one I saw from the Black Authority. And it says, Candace finally admits she was, quote, allowed and encouraged to attack Black people, which she gleefully did, of course, with her sophist presentation on the Daily Wire. They're a bunch of sophists to me. But was punished for even halfway speaking on Jewish people. This is what all the media bootlicks and bed wenches are doing. She's just the one who's finally saying it, right? Because Candace was responding to a post from somebody who says, interesting, I don't recall anyone getting this triggered when Candace was dunking on Blacks. And then Candace responds, no, that was always allowed and encouraged, right? So when people question me, a Black American woman, and even Black people, why we don't support people like Candace Owens, right? Because they're Black ops. And I've talked about these Black ops before. These are people who can be leveraged by different establishment people to demean and narrate Black people in a very generalized way so that other people can have an idea of Black people that is universally negative. And it really goes back into some of the things I've been talking about for years is the psychological manipulation, of not just Black people, but people in America in general about different groups through propaganda, coordinated propaganda, and thought tanks. So Candace Owens was a part of the thought tank that was narrating Black people in a universally negative way. And now that her Jewish contingency, who empowered her to do that, have turned on her, now she's admitting, no, that was allowed and encouraged. She was allowed and encouraged to narrate Black people universally the way that she did by her Jewish contingency. But the minute she started speaking on ideas, talking point that went against them and dropped truth bombs, right? Because Candace Owens, when the conservatives first picked her up, it was all about the truth bombs that she was dropping on Black people, right? But the minute she started dropping those same types of truth bombs on Jewish people, now all of a sudden she gets shut down, right? And now she has to regroup, right? And I want people to realize that Candace did not realize that she was getting fired from the Daily Wire. I don't believe she realized that that last show she did was really her last show, right? Because her closing suggested that she was going to be back, that she was going to have another show on Daily Wire. So it was clear to me that she didn't even know that behind closed doors, they were basically like, okay, it's time for this relationship to end. And Ben Shapiro obviously complied. But I'm pretty sure Ben Shapiro was haunted by that decision for a very long time, and he was probably pressured into making that decision for a very long time because he understood that it would be economically damaging for the Daily Wire to lose Candace Owens, right? Because some of these little machines, they can only fund one little source for so long, and it's like, they need subscriptions. They need residual income by these subscriptions. And if they're losing subscriptions because they lost a major piece of their operation, they're not doing very well. And I actually saw a tweet the other day about the Daily Wire hurting. They're not doing very well since the departure of Candace Owens, right? But now that they have made this abrupt departure, even though everybody can see the writing on the wall, because she continued to speak about the Israel-Gaza conflict in a manner that they didn't really like. And again, Ben Shapiro even admitted she toed the line, the Overton window, if you will, of what they want to discuss. She can diss black people, demean black people all day, but she could never have that same energy for Jews like she had for black people, not at the Daily Wire, and even down to Dennis Prager. You never heard Candace Owens talking this deep on just targeting of conversations about the Jews and what certain white supremacists have felt about the Jews until the Jews turned their backs on her, right? So as long as they were empowered, disconnected, the minute they disconnected, turned their financial funnel off from her, she pretty much has been on a vendetta, in my opinion, right? She's been on a vendetta because if Candace was real, Candace would have been talking about a lot of the stuff that she's talking about now. She would have been talking about it when she was dissing black people. If she is the authority of truth bombs and just telling it like it is, why was she not telling it like it is universally? Why was she not going in on the Jews like she's going in on them right now? And like I said, she's a social chameleon. This is a social chameleon. She understood that once she departed from the Daily Wire for towing that line, she understood where she had to go. She had to go to that very, very far right segment that believe that universally Jews are the problem in this nation. She had to go to them because a lot of them were following her, because a lot of them obviously support Donald Trump too, which she was a big champion for Donald Trump. So social chameleon Candace is going to the deep white supremacists. And because, like she said, they are cowards. A lot of those so-called highly intelligent people, more intelligent than black people, they're cowards. They need a black face like Candace Owens to say all of the things that she's saying right now because they're too weak to do it. They're scared to lose business deals because they're hyper aware of the coordination that Candace is speaking on. But I thought it was interesting though, because the thing is with Candace Owens is she was with the Daily Wire for what, like 4 years? So, I mean, in between the Daily Wire and maybe some other things that she's doing, I mean, she's made her money. She's made money off of these same people that she now feels compelled to expose because they turned their backs on her, right? And to me, I just feel like either the segment that follows Candace Owens are like just really dumb and just really weak, or they don't realize what a social chameleon looks like. That literally this girl is all over the place. Candace Owens leeches onto any conversation that makes sense and that has a huge audience of people engaging in the conversation. So if you got this segment of white America, and mind you, I said segment because I'm not generalizing all white people, but white people know what it is. Some white Americans who are real about it, you know, that there's a segment of your community that are ultra bigots. They hate blacks, they hate Jews, all right? She, smart enough to know that this is a huge segment that Trump was actually able to even bring into the voter base, right? Like I said, a lot of them are part of MAGA. She targeted these people. She targeted these people. She targeted these people, right? Because you can't go back to black people. You can't just sit up there dissing on people, generally talking shit about people, and then expect for them to support you when the Jews tell you to hit the road, Jack. So she's taken, she rolled the dice, and Jew and black haters, I will target them. And that's exactly what Candace Owens is doing right now. And anybody with half of a brain will know this, right? She's between the extreme white, the Christian, what they call the Christian white nationalists. Those are her people. She is playing the Clayton Bigsby role right now. She is Clayton Bigsby. Like Dave Chappelle should have named that Clayton Bigsby character Candace Owens. It's for real. For real. Because she understands where her coins are. You always gonna get paid to say the things that other people are too afraid to say because they're too socially and professionally conscious, right? Candace Owens has zero to lose saying some of the things that she's saying, but I'll tell you who do have something to lose, her husband, right? And if she doesn't see the writing on the wall, right, she better be smart enough to see it. And this is probably why she's going on these really tangent-like things. Like when I was listening to Candace Owens, right, just ranting, she was, like you guys, when I'm passionate about something, you guys know this is how I am, but she's like, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, what in the Adderall is going on with this girl? Like, you cannot be passionate about Zionist Jews to this degree. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I really don't understand. Like, put down the Adderall, girl, or whatever you taking that got you just this activated on Jews, girl. You need to just simmer down, because, like, again, I always say the worst people in any civil society is pedophiles, right? There's no room in civil society for them, right? I'm very passionate about that. I'm a mother as well, right? But she is on a next level of just passionate. And even when I was looking at her go on this rant, let me see if I can find this. She was just activated. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with Candace? And I don't know. It seemed like her reaction was a reaction to possibly maybe some coordination that's going on. Maybe there is some things going on with Candace that, she's not being outward about. So she's kind of going on this expose. But the way that Candace was just ranting, I'm just like, are they doing something to her? Like, what is going on? And according to Candace, they are doing something to her that she feels like there is a coordination against her in some kind of way, because the girl is just activated. And her husband, I don't understand, what kind of mindset, her husband seems like a beta male, right? He seemed like a nice guy, but he definitely seems like a beta male. And, he got the money for sure. But I just feel like there's something beta about this guy. I don't know. But this is Candace. What
short version in a classroom, and it was many moons ago before they decided to establish Israel as a country. I know you've read the short version in a classroom, and it was like, oh, the Holocaust happened, and then we realized
she's being condescending.
No, that's not how it went down. That's not how it went down at the F all, okay? Catholics and Christians were going missing on Passover, and then they would find bodies, okay, across Europe, and they were able to trace them back to Jews. Blood libel. They weren't Jews, okay? These were Frankists. And so just like Leo Frank killed Mary Fagan on Passover back in 1913 or 1914, I can't remember the exact date.
So she's definitely exposing a sect, I would say SECT, of individuals that she believes is sort of manipulating things.
They decided to establish Israel as a country. I know you've read. Before they decided to establish Israel.
So, and I guess people are, she's getting mixed reviews. Here's the thing, I don't necessarily think that some of the things that Candace Owens is saying is a lie, okay? And I definitely don't think that she is lying about certain things, right? But I feel like intent matters. And I think I would believe these type of conversations from, say, a Dave Smith, right? Dave Smith is somebody that Candace Owens has aligned herself with in different ways. And I feel like Dave Smith is going to be smart enough to sort of weave his way away from Candace, because I'm pretty sure he's going to recognize that she's just leeching. She's really just leeching. But, Candace is coming from the camp that she's talking about. And that's what, to me, makes her not creditable. You have a vendetta. You are in your feelings. And I think that is what people need to recognize with Candace Owens specifically going on rants about Jews and conspiracies about Jews. Because Candace Owens is not a dummy. And considering the types of people that she has gravitated to her over the years, she's had this information for a while. She's known this information for a while, but it's not until the Jews turned their backs on her and she felt like coordination to stifle her in whatever way. I don't understand how Candace Owens is being stifled. She literally went from the Daily Wire, and within a month or so, she had her own show back and running with sponsors. She has sponsors for her show. So she's pretty much at the same hookup before, right? I didn't see Ben Shapiro stopping her from starting her own show, right? So, she's back up. She's been able to hedge in a way that nobody else, who actually makes an executive decision to have conversations like this can hedge in. She has a husband that's worth $200 million, right? Her husband is worth $200 million. So at the end of the day, Candace really don't have a whole lot to lose. But who do have a whole lot to lose is her husband and his family. And I see Laura Loomer already putting Candace's husband on the table. She's already putting Candace's husband's money on the table. She's already putting Candace Owens' husband's family on the table. They don't have to wreck Candace Owens. They could literally go and get people close to her. And that's how real people with that get back mindset work, right? So she's really playing a dangerous game, no matter how much she feel like she has a hedge, right? She could definitely hurt her husband's family financially in so many different ways. We see how these advertisers are in coordination. Elon Musk right now is suing some advertiser group because they basically hurt Twitter financially, or X financially, for at least a year on these weird type of boycotts and coordination not to advertise on the platform. So there's different ways that you can hurt people. But for right now, personally, what I see with Candace Owens, no coordination that is actually happening against her is working, right? Because she still has her show. She's still talking shit about the Jews. So I really don't understand, what she is talking about. She is fully platformed. I have been censored from LinkedIn. That hurt my business. Haven't been able to get back on, right? I don't understand how a fully platformed person can be talking about taking financial hits because she's talking shit about the same Jews that empowered her. Somebody help me to understand this, because I love learning new things. Despite what people like Candace Owens would narrate about Black people, which she was allowed to narrate according to her, that was allowed, right? She even is admitting it now, right? She has zero to lose right now. Candace Owens has zero to lose right now. So she's just admitting, she's like, no, that was allowed and encouraged. And guess who complied with talking shit about Black people? Candace Owens, right? Because it was beneficial to her. I wonder what the benefit of Candace Owens is talking about Zionist Jews. I wonder who's benefiting her talking about Zionist Jews. I mean, it's something to think about. It's something to think about. But when people are like, why don't Black people support Candace Owens? Okay, well, there's your answer. Candace just gave you your answer on August 18th on X, that she was encouraged and allowed to talk shit about Black people. Would you rock with somebody who was paid and encouraged to narrate you and your race in a certain manner for coins, just like those tokens that Malcolm X talked about? I doubt you would, right? I doubt you would, right? Candace Owens is the same type of blackface that Malcolm X warned us about. Those token people who can be paid to narrate Black people in a certain manner. And unfortunately, a segment of the Jews did empower this little demon. So it's y'all thought on this. I'm not blaming all the Jews. I don't like to blame the Jews. I'm not on that because I blame Satan. Satan empowers people. But blame some of y'all people. Ben Shapiro, Dennis Prager. Y'all the one who raised this little grifter. Charlie Kirk, right? Y'all raised her. And now she's talking sideways. And maybe she's talking exactly the way that some of those particular types of Jews want her to be talking. Because I've learned that even in the Jewish community, just with this Israel-Gaza thing, they're not on code either. They're not on code as much as some of them would like to allude that they are. I mean, I just realized that the Democrat and the Republican Jew are totally different types of people, totally different types of mindsets. And I have come to realize that the Democrat Jewish person, I understand why they're more favorable. I understand why the Democratic Jewish person will always be more favorable and tolerable to work with and deal with. Republican conservative Jews, we learned about y'all. We learned about y'all through Candace Owens and how y'all would empower people to narrate and propagandize certain narrations about certain races. I learned about that from you guys. They keep talking about the liberal media and the games that the liberals play. But a lot of these conservatives don't realize that conservatives are playing the same damn game. It's so much controlled opposition in these political think tanks and echo chambers. It's ridiculous. I don't even understand how anybody would really know who or what to trust with all of these paid ops just spewing all the passionately ignorant things that passionately ignorant people want to hear. But I just wanted to at least say Candace Owens admitted what every Black person suspected. That's why we didn't Blexit. That's why we weren't checking for her. So for all the white people scratching their heads, perplexed about why Black people never Blexited, why Black people never supported Candace Owens, that is y'all's girl, okay? That's y'all's girl. If we had a race draft right now, I would trade Eminem and give Candace Owens to y'all, some of y'all, okay? Because, and not all white people, but the ones who subscribe to that extreme rhetoric that Candace Owens have been empowered to spew. That's y'all's girl. We got to give her to y'all. But anyway, she's going to stay on the Jews. I really do feel like this is a vendetta that she's on. I do feel like she was sort of blindsided with that departure with the Daily Wire. Because again, listen to her last show. So they coordinated, especially after those interviews with those rabbis that she had, and when she made them just look epically stupid and supremacist, right? It was bound to happen that she was going to depart from the Daily Wire. And I don't think that the Daily Wire had to do much to, like, I don't think that it's the Daily Wire. That's why I don't really feel like she's centering her Zionist hatred towards the Daily Wire specifically. But I do think that this Israel-Palestine thing was probably the straw that broke the camel's back, and it kind of inspired her to just go on over to the dark side. And again, I don't think that anything that she said was necessarily, like, it's hard to say because, you know, again, like Ben Shapiro said, facts don't care about your feelings. And so for me, I would love to see more individuals challenging the things that Candace is saying as possibly being false versus just, you know, being upset with her for saying these things. We already know her motive and her intent for saying these things. She's pissed. She has a vendetta, right? But what aspect of her conversation is false? Is anything that she said false, right? Or is it just the fact that she's saying it, and she's saying it kind of in this kind of troll of Jewish people post Daily Wire? So that's all I got for you. As long I need Candace Owens to just stay away from Black people, right? We just, like, we already know what your intention is. We already know what you've been paid for. You just admitted it to us, right? And I think the Jews are going to get her together talking about them too, right? Because it never really goes too well for many people, you know, kind of taking that route. And I mean, it's just facts of life, right? It has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. It's just that many in the Jewish community are very coordinated people, right? And I hope that Candace Owens has the same level of coordination because she's playing with fire. She's playing with fire, in my opinion, right? She's definitely playing with fire, right? And I don't really think that what she's doing is a productive usage of Christians' times. I mean, we know that this world is satanic. And I think that within any group, religious sect, you're going to find deep Satanism. You're going to find deep pedophilia because Satan has infiltrated many religions, right? And so that's not just a tag on those who practice Judaism or Talmudic Judaism. It's really like you go into the Catholic Church, there's a lot of Satanism in the Catholic Church too, but they will run around like they're saints. I think that Candace just converted to Catholicism, right? One of the most corrupt religions to me in Christianity. So I just find her to be a corrupted demon, double talking demon. Okay. She's going to cleave on to any echo chamber that will make her popular or profitable, and cleaving on to the mindsets and ideologies of Gentile Christian rights that hate Jews isn't really far off from like a next level of grift for somebody like Candace Owens. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I pray for everybody. I'm looking forward to God's kingdom, right? So, I mean, I'm not really trying to be centered on any type of religion or group. I'm focused on God's kingdom, trying to live my life and aligned with God's righteous standards, his laws, his covenants. I'm practicing being a good person. I don't like inflammatory conversations, but I think that we should look at things pragmatically. And if you're a person of faith, you know, you already know what time it is. There is nothing new under the sun. And, you know, with that being said, you know, you got Black white supremacists in America. Lord have mercy. Candace needs a vacation. I mean, she needs to just raise her kids. She needs to just, you know, just focus on being a mom. Focus on doing something that's not centered on Jews. Start a ministry, right? You know, it's kind of funny too. I gotta say this, right? The contradiction of the manosphere, right? The manosphere, right? But yet they are cleaving onto Candace Owens. You really can't make this shit up. What a bunch of beta people, right? They're beta people with alpha up mentalities because they have an audience and money, right? You take all that stuff away, they're weird beta people, in my opinion, right? Because I don't care how many great talking points anybody can make, the overall character of a person, sometimes it really makes you question where they are coming from when they are talking on a certain point. Like, and so when I hear Andrew Tate and when I hear people like Candace Owens, I hear conversation leeches. I hear conversation leeches who have found reasonable talking points. They deliver them as their own. And hey, I guess that's how you even if you have assholes spreading the knowledge. Spreading knowledge is always good. But anyways, you guys, have a wonderful day. Don't take any of these people too seriously. I think that if there is a coordination against Candace Owens financially, I believe that they're going to hit her husband's family. I truly do believe, and I think that's when we're going to hear Candace slowly but surely shutting the hell up about Zionist Jews, or anything related to Jews, because her family is going to get short squeezed. I feel like in little creative ways, it is always possible to short squeeze people like Candace Owens. And, you know, she keep running off that her mouth, because I actually saw her husband's father come out on Twitter talking about he wanted to make a statement in lieu of one of his family members' recent comments. And he was talking about his views of anti-Semitism and the conflict in Palestine. But her husband's father is coming out making statements in lieu of some of the things that Candace has said. So I don't think Candace is going to be talking like this for too much longer, without costing herself. Pride is always before a crash. Pride is before a crash. And I think her pride is going to cause her to eventually crash, right? And again, I want to make the point. I believe in people telling the truth. I believe in people telling the truth, being passionate about telling the truth. But there's always broader truths to things. I think that time, place, and manner is very important. And I just think in lieu of just the recent events between Candace Owens and the Daily Wire, which is a Jewish establishment, and even her recent conflicts with the Jewish establishment, I find her expose of some of these topics linked to Jewish people to be more of a vendetta versus, I think you guys really should know this. So that's just my opinion. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.